Greetings and welcome to GDS089 JavaScript 1. My name is Curtis Pembroke and I'll be your instructor for the course. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you log into Canvas and download and print the syllabus so that you can have a hard copy to review as I go through this video. I'm not going to make it reading by Curtis. I'll just highlight the important points in the syllabus. But it's important that you read the syllabus completely, and if you have any questions, post them in the questions forum in Canvas. As I mentioned, my name is Curtis Pembroke, and I'll be the instructor for this course. I've been teaching JavaScript 1 now for almost 12 years. I've been with Mission College 20 years, teaching in computer applications and graphic design and multimedia. Due to COVID, we're not on campus, but if for some reason we happen to return to campus in the middle of the semester for some reason, my office is in the Gilmore Center, room 217B. You can reach me at extension 5275. I do monitor my calls and check my voicemails. My office hours virtually are Tuesdays from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. and Thursdays from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Both are via Zoom, and on Fridays by arrangement. This course is completely online from August 28th through December 18th. Actually, the 28th start date is kind of a standard start date for all online courses. You can think that we essentially are starting on Monday, but I make the course a little available on the official start date so you can complete the orientation. But this course is entirely online, which means that we will have no face-to-face meetings unless you meet me during office hours, or occasionally I will schedule a webinar to go over topics that are proving to be difficult for students. And those are basically to be announced or by arrangement. I just wanted to make an important point here. You are logged into Canvas right now, but you must log into Canvas and review everything in the orientation folder by 9/7. So that's the day after Labor Day. If you haven't reviewed everything, that is, downloaded the syllabus and taken a look at and completed the orientation quiz and posted to the discussion forum and taken the survey, then you will be dropped. You have to complete all of the assignments in the orientation folder before you're officially enrolled in the course. And that's because I've had students, especially in online courses, who log into Canvas and they don't complete the orientation, and then later, for whatever reason, they're not sure of what the requirements are for the course, or they simply just disappear. In terms of the course description, again, I'm not going to make it reading by Curtis. I just want to emphasize some of the points about the course. This course is an introduction to JavaScript and its application for the web. And it's intended for beginners. And so if you're an experienced JavaScript programmer or you have experience with other programming languages, this course might seem a little too easy for you because it's intended to target students who have just basic knowledge of HTML and CSS. And I highly recommend that you complete GDS045, which is HTML5 course in graphic design, before you take this course. But again, it's a basic course that covers JavaScript basics like objects and arrays and conditional structures, and the heart of JavaScript, and the main reason we use it, DOM scripting, which stands for Document Object Model. And DOM scripting gives us the power to do some pretty neat things with the web page. As we progress through the semester, we'll take a look at more intermediate topics, and towards the end, we'll get an introduction to some of the advanced topics that are covered in a second class that GDS has developed, and we hope to offer it sometime this summer. In terms of the course outcomes, I'll make it very simple. When you complete this course, you'll be able to use JavaScript to add interactivity to your web pages. and basically kick it up a notch. So instead of a static web page, You'll be able to do things like create dynamic menus and slideshows and rollovers. You'll be able to replace elements on the page using JavaScript. In terms of a textbook, this course does use a textbook and it's required. The textbook is Maroc's JavaScript and jQuery, 4th edition. It is available in the bookstore, but they will probably mark it up. So I would recommend that you either get the EPUB version from Amazon or that you purchase it at Barnes & Noble. The book is about $50. It's a really good book. I'll talk later after Labor Day. I'll talk about strategies for reading the textbook. I don't want to overwhelm you with that right now. The key in this first week before Labor Day is that you get the textbook and that you get yourself settled in Canvas and you're ready to start the second week of class after Labor Day. I have a list here of optional books, and again, you can read through this, but I do want to emphasize one thing. If you are a complete beginner, if you haven't taken GDS45 or you're just dabbling in HTML and CSS, I do recommend that you get a second book, JavaScript for Kids. And don't be fooled, this book is very useful for both kids and adults. And you can get a free EPUB version, not EPUB, but online version of this textbook through O'Reilly.com that you can subscribe through our the Mission College library. So if you go to this link here at Mission College Off-Campus Services.html, it will tell you how to register for O'Reilly online books. You have to use your missioncollege.edu email. That's how they verify you're a student. And they have a database of literally thousands of books. And you can access the electronic version. In fact, every one of these books that are listed here are available for free through O'Reilly. In terms of assignments, very straightforward. You have the orientation that you have to complete this week for 40 points. We have lab exercises. You're going to have 10 labs worth 20 points. And the labs are basically structured around competencies. I've taught this class for a long time, and we get this interesting dichotomy where we have very experienced programmers who can jump into the more complex nuances of programming in JavaScript, and we have, again, beginners who are just starting. So with the labs, I will, in most cases, have two alternatives for the labs. The very, very simple one that you can complete, which meets basic competency. And then the more comprehensive lab, which really isn't that much more difficult, should I say, but for beginners with no HTML and no programming experience, it might be a challenge. In order to get a in the class, you need to complete those lab exercises that are of the highest competency because they correspond with the objectives and outcomes of the course. So basically, if all you do is complete the basic labs, then you can expect to get a B in the class. If you complete the basic and the advanced or just the advanced, then you're guaranteed to get an A in the course. Participation in discussion is worth 100 points, and that's basically weekly discussions that you're required to participate in. And then the final exam is 160 points. In terms of grading, it's very straightforward. I'm not here to make or break your academic career. I talked about the competency-based grading. If you complete the more comprehensive labs that I offer and that correspond with the reading and the lecture, then you will get an A in the class. In fact, you already have an A in this course. And my job is to make sure that you can apply or have a basic understanding of JavaScript. And so as long as you complete the labs, and as I see you might, for example, you might start, if we look at the schedule here, you might start working just with the basic labs. And as you build confidence through the semester, you complete the more comprehensive labs up through lab 10. At that point, then looking at your competencies, then I would say if you submit the lab and you complete the work, then you're going to keep your A. Again, I don't look at perfection, I look at effort. So you might submit a lab that has some errors, and I will let you know what those errors are, and I provide you with the solution to the lab. It takes a long time to learn JavaScript, and so I expect that you're going to have errors. And I measure competency by effort. And so the schedule is really straightforward. You can read through it. We have 2 major holidays, Labor Day and Thanksgiving. We have a final exam in this class, which is basically like a big lab exercise, and very straightforward. And I'll talk about that later in the semester so that we get a sense of what that looks like. In terms of assignments, the due dates are in Canvas, but I just want to point out I automatically give you a 48-hour extension on assignments. And that's because, especially now with COVID and all the things that are going on, I know that sometimes things get in the way. And so you don't have to let me know that you're submitting within the 48-hour extension. But if you're any later than 2 days in submitting an assignment, then I need to know that you're going to be a little bit more than 48 hours late. That 48 hours is there for flexibility, but please don't use it on every assignment. I've listed some important Fall 21 important dates, and these are everywhere on the Mission College website, etc. You can review those yourself. Everything else in the syllabus is the obligatory college content and information like course cheating, code of conduct, disability statement. There's some great resources if you need accommodations, like extended time for assessments. Mission College is offering assistance for students, economic assistance if you need that. Also, for those of you who might need the Adobe Creative Cloud software license but can't afford it, you can contact me, and then I'll point you to the right resources for that. If you need a laptop, the college has a loaner laptop program, but I think that some of those laptops are Chromebooks, and so they may not always work well with what we're doing. However, a few are PCs with Windows and no Macs, unfortunately. And so if you need help with laptop or software, please send me an email. And that brings up my last point. It has to do with communication in the class. If you have a question about something for this week in the orientation or the syllabus, or in the future with an assignment or something that like reading in the textbook, please post those type of questions to the discussion forum. Do not send those questions to me in email. And it's because we're online, we have to create a community, and students tend to have the same questions. And so if you email me a question versus posting it in the discussion forum, then I have to answer that same question 20 times in some cases. So we try to recreate the regular classroom by having you post in the online discussion. Your peers can see your question. It's sort of like you raising your hand in class, and I will answer that question, or you can answer one another's questions. I sometimes will sit back and pause because it's actually good teaching and a chance for you guys to collaborate and to help one another. And so if you post a question on a topic in the reading, like you might ask a question like, I don't have a clear understanding of, the different data types. What's the difference between a primitive and an object? And you send that in email, then I'll probably send it back to you and say, that you need to post this to the discussion forum in Canvas. If you have a question of a personal nature, like maybe you need an extension beyond the 48-hour period, that's something that you would send me an email on. Please don't post those things to the discussion forum. And so that's basically a quick summary of the syllabus. If you have any questions, post them to the questions forum, and I look forward to seeing you in Canvas.